Hey, I'm Jermaine Gatson. I'm the pastor of Faith Ministries Incorporated in the city of Birmingham, Alabama. I'm also the author of the book, Tactics, Trends, and Traits of the Enemy, Equipping the Believer to Fight Back. And today I want to talk to you about a prominent spiritual warfare weapon that every believer should have in their spiritual warfare arsenal. In Revelation 12:11, it says that they overcame by the blood of the Lamb, the word of their testimony, and that they did not love their lives unto the death. The spiritual warfare weapon that I want to talk to you about is the word of your testimony and also the word of God. When we look at this phrase, the word of their testimony, there are two things that we can see here. First of all, it's the reference to the word, which is the word of God. We got to understand that the word of God is a powerful weapon when it comes to spiritual warfare. In Ephesians chapter 6, when Paul gives us the listing of the whole armor of God, all of the elements of the armor that are listed there are really defensive weapons. He lists the helmet of salvation, the breastplate of righteousness, having your shoes shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace, having the belt of truth, having the shield of faith. Those are all defensive weapons. But he mentions one offensive weapon, and he says the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God. And so the word of God is like a spiritual sword. In Hebrews chapter 4, around verse 12, it says that the word of God is alive and powerful. It is sharper than any two-edged sword. So over and over again, the scriptures compare the word of God to a spiritual sword. And the word of God is so powerful in spiritual warfare that we got to understand how to use it. That's why the scripture encourages us to study to show ourselves approved unto God, a workman that needs not be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. The more of the word of God we know, the more of the word of God we have available to us to use as a spiritual weapon. For example, when Jesus was tempted in the wilderness after fasting for 40 days by Satan himself, every time that Satan came against Jesus, Jesus did not argue with Satan. Jesus did not debate with Satan. All he did was say, "It is written." And so every time that the enemy attacked him with temptation, Jesus thwarted him off with the word of God. And Jesus is our example. Just like Jesus was able to fight against the enemy to ward off his temptation by using the word of God, we can use the word of God in our lives to give us victory in spiritual warfare as well. Also, notice it says that it was the word of their testimony. You got to understand that your testimony empowers you to overcome. If God saved you, if God healed you, if God delivered you before in your past, then guess what? He'll do it again. And so you need to be encouraged today that whatever it is that's going on in your life, if God has been good to you before, if he's blessed you before, if he's brought you out of a situation before, you can trust him that he'll do it again. And your testimony is not just something to think about or to reminisce on, but your testimony is something that should encourage your life even right now and for the future. And so I just wanted to let you know that the word of God is a powerful weapon, and it is the most important weapon that we have in spiritual warfare. And so I want to encourage you, read your word, study your word, meditate on your word, even memorize the word, because when you do so, you'll be a mighty warrior and you will overcome the enemy every time. Hey, I'm Jermaine Gatson, pastor and teacher of Faith Ministries Incorporated. I'm also the author of the book, Tactics, Trends, and Traits of the Enemy. For more information about me, for more video blogs and updates, and look at our itinerary and different things that we have coming out, you can look at my website, JermaineGatson.com. God bless you.